Okay guys, so I want to show you a little Thailand barbecue style here. I bought this grill at Home Pro. It was just a little over 3,000 baht, so around 100 bucks. Not a bad little barbecue grill. I've got to have the lid, right? I've got to have the lid in order to do some smoking. But what's difficult to find in Thailand is charcoal fluid, and you really don't need it, because what you can buy is this stuff. This little fire starter they have, and you can find this at Home Pro or Mega Home or Thai Watsadoo. Pretty much anybody that sells the charcoal grills has this fire starter, and a little bit goes a long ways. So you just take a little chunk of this stuff, right? Okay, and stick it down in there after you've poured a bed of charcoal in there. Now, usually you can find two different styles of charcoal in Thailand. One of them is these great big style charcoal briquettes, right? And the other one is the standard natural charcoal, right? The smaller chips. Okay. So what I do is put some of the big briquettes in the bottom, about 4 of them, and make a little cubby hole, and then put some of my fire starter in the middle of those big ones, and pour a little bit of the smaller charcoal on top, right? And then it's real easy to light that fire starter stuff. Just take a little piece of paper and it'll really get going. So that's kind of how we do it here in Thailand. Hello everyone. Jake, say hello.
Maggie, say hello. สวัสดีค่ะ
Huh? Jake, sawadee-kap, sawadee-kap, Jake. Sawadee. But yeah, I keep my fire to one side, and I'm going to place the ribs on the rack over here to this side, so that I don't have the direct heat on the ribs, right? So I'm just going to keep a small fire to one side, and then I'm going to add my wood chips in here as I'm smoking. I'll show you how I set the rack of ribs on the grill rack here once we get going a little bit further. Let's see here. She'll come back. Oh yeah. Yeah, that little fire starter stuff will do the job. Just a small piece in there is all I needed. That'll get me a good hot core. All right, let's go in the house. Man, we've had a lot of rain. I got some of the grass cut yesterday evening, but then it rained a bunch again last night and again this morning, so I'm not able to get outside and finish cutting grass out there. But hey man, it's welcome rain after a long dry season, and Thailand's been under a pretty big drought for a while. So yeah, so I want to show you how I did the pre-rub and everything on these ribs. I think if you do this, it'll work out great for you. What are you guys doing? Huh? What are you doing? Huh? You being good? Good boy, Jake. So yeah, what I do on this slab of ribs, now you can buy these full slabs. Sometimes they're special order, not real easy to find, but if you can find a CP is really high quality stuff here in Thailand. They sell awesome bacon at Tesco Lotus, CP brand. But if you can find a CP pork shop in your area, you can order these full slabs of ribs from CP. Okay, so that's what I do, because it's hard to get. Like Thai style ribs, they cut them like 3 times here, just little bitty short, like smaller than baby backs, right? But what I do on these ribs is use a dry rub on them. Now you can use a lot of different ingredients in your dry rub, but the main thing that you're definitely going to want to have in your dry rub is garlic, either garlic powder and garlic salt, or garlic powder and then add salt, because you want that salt to kind of cure a little bit, okay? So garlic salt is what I use. If you have garlic powder, just add a little salt. Also use paprika, a good dose of paprika. And a little bit of natural Thai golden sugar, right? Just sprinkle it on there. It's not a whole lot, okay? It's not gonna sweeten your meat up a bunch or anything. But what you're doing is you're curing. It's kind of like a brine, right? A brine, if anybody's ever used a brine with ice water and salt and sugar, right? You're kind of brining the meat. So you got that garlic salt, you got the natural sugar, you got paprika, and then I use like some steak seasoning, Montreal steak seasoning, okay? And then I like a little Italian flavor, so I throw some oregano on there, okay? And then I also use just a little bit of ground Thai chili peppers, right? Not too much, because you don't want a whole lot of fire, but you can sprinkle that on there. It gives you a little Thai style barbecue, okay? And then I use fresh ground pepper as well, like the grinder style pepper, black pepper. Now what I do is I coat this thing with the dry rub on both sides, okay? And you can add other ingredients if you want, but the main thing is the garlic salt, the paprika, the sugar, the black pepper, right? Those are the main things that you need to have really good flavor infused into the meat. You can also use onion powder. I like to use onion powder too. Sometimes that's difficult to find, but at least here in Thailand. But the key is I put the rub on both sides, okay? Put a nice big pan, and I wrap it with plastic and shove it in the refrigerator overnight, okay? So you want to let it set with that dry rub on it overnight, or up to 24 hours, up to you. So all of those spices and that salt and sugar is really brining and kind of curing that slab of ribs, okay? So it's really infusing those flavors. I really like the Montreal steak seasoning. If you can find that, usually you have to go to one of the specialty stores to find it. Show you here. Where'd you go? Right here. Montreal steak, Grill Mates, McCormick, 149 baht. Now I bought it at an expat store, but I know some of the specialty grocery stores do have it in Thailand, where you can find the Farong spice aisle. But I like this seasoning mix, right? And I coat it well with that too. But if you don't have that, I mean, as long as you've got the paprika, like a good coating of paprika, the garlic salt, the sugar, right? And then whatever other spices, like say I use a little bit of Thai chili peppers. But after you get it coated, with that, then you want to cover it with some plastic and stick it in the refrigerator overnight. And that really allows everything to absorb into those ribs. Now you can also buy an actual dry rub, which is another thing that's hard to find here in Thailand. But that's, it's what we use in America. We actually buy a dry rub. But those ingredients, the garlic, the paprika, the salt, the sugar, all of that is usually mixed into your dry rub. Okay, so that's the prep on the ribs. Now let's go attend to the fire. Okay, now I know you professional smokers are probably laughing at me, all right? But this is what you do if you don't have a smoker and all you have is a charcoal grill. And everybody that's got the big custom smoke boxes and everything may think this is kind of hilarious, but this is what the poor man does. It doesn't have a big smoker at home, right? This is not an actual smoker, it's just a charcoal grill. But it does work, and the ribs are going to be amazing, I promise you. When I'm finished, they are going to have a thick smoke line in them, and they're going to be moist and tender. All right, so I like to smoke mine around 200 to 220. Now I just had her opened up and put the ribs in it, so I had her preheated up to about 300 and then opened up and put the ribs in it. So it's going to take a little bit to get back to the temperature that I want. So once I've got my ribs in there, I keep my bottom dampers open and my top ones closed, okay? So bottom open, top closed. This allows the smoke to stay in there in the belly, which is what you want to get infused inside the ribs. Okay, now I don't have a rib rack or anything, right? I'm just doing it poor man style on a charcoal grill. So I use these little skewers. You can get them all over Thailand here, right? Made out of bamboo. So you can just use those to stand up your ribs. Got my wood chips soaking in water here, right? We haven't done any wood yet. We've just got it preheated and stuck the ribs in. So let's see what we got going on. All right. So you can see the fire is to one side, right? So this is going to get a little charred, and we're going to rotate a little bit as we go. So we'll have a little bit of burn ends, you know, which is fine. That just adds flavor. But you can see I just stuck a couple of skewers on there and got that rack stood up in there. Okay, so now we've got a nice gray ashed over coal fire, nice and hot. Then I stuck a couple of big charcoal briquettes on top to make sure that I maintain a good fire. So all I want to do is take just a little bit of these wood chips at a time, right? And I'm just going to place them on the grill over here. They're nice and wet. Okay, nice and wet. About 4 pieces at a time. That's good right there. Okay, so every hour or maybe every 2 hours, come back and add some more wood chips. But you'd be surprised how well those smoke sitting on top of the fire like that when you've been soaking them in wood for a couple hours, or soaking them in water, right? Get them nice and soaked in for a couple hours. That way they'll slow smoke and they won't burn away on you. So that's basically it, guys. See, we got a good hot fire, so it's going to keep the temperature that I want. I can literally close this down now. I'm going to get good temperature back up here pretty quick, and I'll be able to just walk away. And if I didn't come back for a couple hours, that'd be okay too, right? The less you lift the lid, the better off you are. But those little wood chips are going to create some smoke in here and going to infuse it, right? So I'm going to keep adding. So I'm probably going to smoke these about 6 hours at 220 degrees Fahrenheit, right? For you Celsius guys there, that's going to be around 100 to 120 Celsius is what I'm going to run at. Okay, so that's basically it. I mean, low maintenance. All the work is done. The grill does the rest of it for me. But I keep the dampers closed on top and keep them open on bottom, so it keeps that fire hot, maintains the temperature I want, and allows them wood chips to sit there and smolder and begin to smoke. You're going to see here in a little bit this thing's going to smoke up. All right, so let's come back in a little bit. It's running about perfect. Just a little over 200, close to 220. Just what I like. So you may say, well, you ain't really smoking much with just those little wood chips. But actually, you can see that smoke arising. Huh? So you'd be surprised what a few little wood chips at a time will do. I'm going to open it up just to show you. I don't really like to open it too much, but look at the wood chips right on top. That rub is staying on there really nice because it was kept in the fridge all night with the rub on there. Oh yeah. Alright, let's leave it alone for a couple hours. Okay guys, it's been 5 hours of smoke and I think they look perfect and they're ready for the next phase. Alright, so this is what I do on the next phase. Alright, oh look at that, they're so tender. The steaks have kind of gone right through. Look at that. They're already so tender, the steaks are just coming right through the meat now. So we have a nice smoked in flavor, guaranteed. We got a little char there, right? So now all we want to do is we want to add moisture. We want to make sure that they're not dry, and we want to give them a little bit more time so that they're even more tender and falling off the bone. Well, you can see already, look at that. Oh my God. You see how well our rub stayed on because we let the dry rub sit overnight in the refrigerator, so it's infused. All right, so now all we want to do is add a little mop. What I do, take my favorite barbecue sauce, whatever you can find, and I add about a 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce to thin it down, right? So we're just going to mop it, right? Nothing fancy. Just going to give it that little extra moisture. Okay. Then we're going to wrap this baby up. Hang on a second. Now we got it all wrapped up, right? Turn the folds up, right? So that the sauce doesn't run out the bottom. So we got them all wrapped up here, and we're going to go ahead and bake them off for at least another hour, maybe 2 hours, right? In a little bit of a mop. So in the meantime, I threw a couple of cobs of corn on there and a nice big baked potato for my wife and I to split. So I'm going to show you these ribs, the finished product, when we're all said and done. Now, there's never been any direct fire underneath these ribs. The fire has always been over here. Okay, so the smoke just infused for 5 hours. Just with that little bit of wood chips, they got tons of smoke infused. Plus the charcoal here in Thailand is amazing flavor as well. So let's come back to it when it's time to eat. Open it. Okay guys, it's the finished product here. 7 hours on the charcoal grill. Wow. Looks pretty yummy. Let's see here. Basically just falling off. If I can miss the bone. Okay. Yeah, it's just falling off the bone there. Completely. Put right there. Do the skin on the back. Yeah. Ooh. Doggies. Okay, I'm not missing the bone. Here, just grab the bone. Oh, look at that. Just falling off the bone. How about? Take your mask off. Oh boy. All right. Well, that's it. Let's eat. Good, huh? Yeah, that's a finished product, guys. It's just falling off of the bone here. Just kind of falling off the bone. But moist. See that little smoke ring in there? Mmm. So good. Mmm. And that is how we smoke our ribs on a charcoal grill, huh, Jake? Mm. You want bone? No. Mmm. So good. Better than the Rib House restaurant, huh? Better, yeah. Mm. Mm. Oh my God.
Really big bone.
Big bone, a lot of meat. That's it. Everybody's happy.